Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Miriam Dow, wife, a mama for real estate investor and entrepreneur. So in my 34 years of age, I've started more than a few businesses. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. I know there's a lot of things online saying how being a serial entrepreneur isn't good. I do advise that you focus on one business in order to become the best expert you can become, learn all aspects of that one business. So when I say I was a serial entrepreneur, this was between different stages of my life. At each stage, I was doing one thing at a time. Kind of just goes back to what I was exposed to. This is why I say if you have a business, family-owned business, I think it's detrimental to have your kids involved in your business because it just opens their eyes. It lets them know that there's other ways to earn income other than just going to work for someone else. You can actually create your own business for your family. And I feel like I was exposed to a lot at a very young age, which is why I am where I am now. Although I still have a 9 to 5, I just know that being an entrepreneur has just always been in. My mom opened her hair salon when I was 6 years old. So from the age of 6 to 17, when I went to college, 11 years, I didn't have no choice. After school, I would go right to the shop, the hair salon. I would be helping out, taking braids out. So if someone came with like box braids, I would help take the braids. Any of the ladies that go get their hair done at the African shops, you see kids and little kids, in there always helping out the shop. So at the time, I was the one helping my mom out. So I would be taking braids out. I hated it because people would just come and they had dandruff and all this type of stuff. And it would be like dandruff everywhere. So I really did not like it. But this started when I was like more of a teenager. When I was 6 and below teenager age, I wasn't as involved. But when I was there, like when they do the long box braids, I would break the tips. Anyone needed to come get a hair, like a wash, condition, I would wash their hair, condition it, take the braids down, break the tips down. Eventually I started doing the hair myself. So like if someone brought like their toddler daughter and they just wanted to do like an updo with beads and stuff, I knew how to do that. So I would do that. And then my mom started paying me. Like I used to get paid for the braids that I would do. So they would be busy with their micro braids. Back then, human hair, micro braids was really in style. So they'd be doing that. They'll give me like the easier styles. So like if the men came in for like, just some straight backs, I would do that, $35 back then and $20. So she would let me keep that. I hated it. When I say like on the weekends, I would have my plans, I would be dressed up. And the way it was, my mom's hair salon was right across the street from where we lived. So I would try to sneak out and this lady would see me try to question like, I see you, I need you in here. Or what I really hated was like Saturdays, she'll call me at like 8 a.m. I need you to come downstairs right now. Don't take a shower, don't brush your teeth, come downstairs right now. We full. And then in the beginning, I would come downstairs thinking, okay, I'm about to just help her 20-30 minutes and I could go back upstairs, take a shower. And no, I would be in that shop all day. Didn't take a shower, helping her out. So I really did not like that. Like I used to get like really, really long nails just so that I can use that as an excuse. Like, no, I can't help. I'm sorry. I got like really long nails. She was like, I don't care. Come downstairs. You already knew I needed your help. Like, why did you get these nails? To the point where I know how to now do hair with long nails. Now, back then I hated it, but fast forward 34 years, I have 3 daughters. And sometimes I don't feel like going to the city to get their hair done. I didn't know I was going to be blessed with 3 daughters and now I do their hair. So, and that's because of all the skills I learned from being my mom's shop. But at a young age, my mom had a hair salon and she also had a boutique in the salon. So she would sell like shoes and purses, different goods like that for when, you're going to your African weddings and your baby showers. So different things you would need for the ceremony, jewelry pieces and stuff like that. She would get that from Dubai. My very first time going to Dubai was back in 2009. So I was exposed to traveling at such a young age. She would send me to Paris. I would go to Paris for like the weekend, literally come from school on a Friday. She would already have my carry-on packed up. And I would go to my aunt's house in Paris. It's about a 6-7 hour flight. And I would go and I'm there for the weekend, literally doing my homework on the flight back. Now, I would go on Friday and then I would return on a Sunday because sometimes it would be less expensive for her to pay for my flight rather than trying to ship the goods. Like shipping the goods could be so crazy. It would be less expensive to actually purchase a flight for me to go. And back then the flights wasn't that bad. It's way under $1,000. And then I would go spend those 2 nights with my aunt. And then Sunday morning, I would catch a flight Paris time, which is still like middle of the night, USA time. And then I would get here in the US like midday US. So it's like, or sometimes like in the evening US, depending on what time the flight was. So back then, my parents were divorced, so my dad hated it. He really didn't like the fact that I was traveling at such a young age. I, on the other hand, was loving it. I was like, catch me out. And back then, like, Instagram wasn't really popping. I was in high school from 2004 to 2007. I think I opened my Instagram account back in 2011. So, you know, there was no place to flex. You know, we have Facebook, so I had some pictures on Facebook, but I was loving it, okay? And then at the time, I was getting into a lot of fights. So for the summer, she would just send me to Africa for 2-3 months, and I would be gone. I think the youngest I've traveled by myself was like 12, 13, and I would just travel with the flight. You know how they have a flight attendant be like your assistant. They help you out, so they feed me, and then they give me to the person that went to pick me up at the airport. So it was fun for me, and I do recommend basically, if you have a family business, get your kids involved. That was my little taste of entrepreneurship. So when I graduated from college back in 2011, I was 21. In 2022, I was just obsessed with hair. I always was paying all this money for, like, you know, hair extensions. This is when the Brazilian was out, Malaysian hair, and then I started my own hair business in 2012. So I actually still have the Instagram page up. I'll put it right here so you can see it. But I started selling the hair, created a website on GoDaddy, or did I create the domain name from GoDaddy? So it was virginhairgalore.com. Still have it. And then I was 22 and I just knew the influence and the power of marketing. So I found this girl that had a lot of followers on Instagram, sent her a message, asking her if I could send her hair for free, and she could basically just review my hair. And she was going to college at the time, and she was doing people's hair on the campus. So she did like 3 videos. She was a YouTuber as well. Years later, I asked her the videos when I wanted to like revamp my hair upside, and she was like, oh, she lost all the videos. But then she actually started selling hair herself. You can browse through my Instagram and you'll see the videos. But she posted videos just doing a review, coloring it, curling it, and then I started to get a lot of customers from the other students that was going to the campus where she was doing their hair, and then, you know, they would buy the hair online. And then I also had like a pickup service, so anybody like that lived in New York City, I would just have them go pick it up at my mom's hair salon. So I loved that. I did that. And then when I had my son and I was on maternity leave, that's when I really knew the power of it, because I would just be sitting there and then $600 hit my PayPal account. Someone just bought hair. Sometimes I didn't even have the hair in stock. But on my website, I would say 7 to 10 days shipping. And you know, shipping, the way shipping is now is like 3 days plus is a long time. But back in 2012, we're talking over 10 years ago, 7 to 10 days wasn't really bad. And if I had the hair in stock, you'll get it within that same week. But if I didn't have the hair in stock, it gave me time to then buy the hair from my vendor in China, and I would get the hair from her within 2 to 3 days if it was a weekday. So I would say 7 to 10 business days. And then once I get the hair, same day, I ship it out. So it was really fun. I really loved it. And then I had people that would just come to the shop, and, you know, I never sold wigs, but then I started making my own wigs, and then people were asking me like, hey, can you make me my wig? And I was like, no, I only made a wig once for my cousin, because then I started to see the customer service part, and I was like, I'm not about to make you this wig. Take me 2-3 hours to make this wig. But like with the hair, I can make sure it's good quality. You go somewhere else to make the wig. I didn't want to make the wig. I knew you could make more money, but I just did it. It was just too time consuming for me. And at the time, then I had my daughter as well. And then we had then moved to Jersey. So from 2012 to, I believe, like maybe 2018 is when I stopped, like completely stopped, like even marketing and stuff like that. But every now and again, I still get people hit me up from like the African community, and I'll, you know, buy a few bundles and send them over. And then, because I feel like everyone is selling hair now. At the age of 23, I had my son September 2nd, 2013. And then during that maternity leave, before then, I would see all these Africans that would have like tax stores, like not like a H&R Block, but like a mom and pop kind of H&R Block. And I would just hear about all the money they were making off taxes. They charging like $500, $1,000. And me, like, I'm a sponge. I'm always trying to learn. So when I had my son in September 2013, I'm like, okay, I got 3 months. And this is my first child. I was like, after he was about a month and a half, I decided to get enrolled in H&R Block, and at the time we lived in Harlem, but the school was in New Jersey. So I would take the bus over, and it was a month. It was like 30 days, 5 days a week. I would come over. I would take like a few buses to get there. A month, and I'm just learning how to do taxes. And then I started doing tax. So I got my license to do taxes in 2013, but I actually started doing it, during tax season in 2014. And I was catering to, I had a certain audience. Like, my mom is very well known within the African community, the Malian community, Ivory Coast community. So within West the African community, because she's had a store in Harlem for over 30 years now. So a lot of people come in her store, they buy jewelry, they buy clothes, they buy shoes, they buy everything they need, like home incense and stuff like that. So every time they would come in, she would just give out my business card, like, hey, my daughter's doing taxes now. And I kind of grew up in the community. Everyone knows me. They had that trust already with me. And then I just started doing a whole bunch I call them aunties. They're really family friends and my mom's customers, but just started doing a whole bunch of their taxes. And till this day, like, I still have one tax customer that will not let anyone do her taxes. And I'm like, listen. And I was charging, I think when I first started, I was only charging $100. So it was really, they really liked that, because these people are getting like $15,000 back, $10,000 back. So $100 fee was nothing. And then I wouldn't have them pay up front. I would have them, like, when you're getting your taxes back, I would have it deducted from that automatically. So we both get their federal tax refund on the same day. It just started to become too much, because these people thought that I had like the system in my hands. They would be like, okay, well, this year I only made 20 grand. They would, I have 5 kids, so that's gonna help me out. And I want like $20,000 back on my tax return. And I'm like, this is not how this works. It started becoming too much. I would have these people calling me 1 a.m. leaving a voicemail. It was just annoying. It was becoming too much. And I was just like, And every year I would up it. So the first year I was making 100. The next year I was making 150 per client. Next year 200. Next year 250. So during the tax season, I had my bunch of clients. It was nice, but then once I moved to Jersey, like, as I had more kids, it was just becoming too much. And I was like, this is just too much. I don't feel like doing this anymore. So I kind of stopped just answering their calls, and whoever I would see, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't do taxes anymore. And it was so annoying, because as soon as I'm done with their taxes, I email them their tax return, I give them all that information. A year later, when they want someone else to do their taxes, they're like, oh, can you send me my tax return? I'm like, I sent it to you a year ago. So it was so annoying dealing with a certain audience, but it helped me with communication skills. Traveling to Dubai and Paris with my mom, when you go to Dubai, there's a lot of Pakistan people, Indian people, it's a lot of different nationalities. So, negotiating goods on her behalf and just communicating with them was definitely nice. Like, even coming to the States with her goods and talking to the immigration office, not the immigration, is it the taxation, where you pay taxes, communicating with them. Very eye-opening for a woman at my young age doing all this traveling. So I really do recommend. I even thought like starting a vending machine business for my kids, because it's something where we can go buy the goods together, and I just like kind of sit back and let them, after finding a location, I would sit back and kind of let my son, who's 10, lead the others. My daughter that's 7 and my twin daughters that's 4. So I even thought about starting a vending machine business where, they're responsible for getting the supplies, stocking up the machines. I'm just there to watch them and let them kind of, learn how to start businesses. How like you have a lemonade stand for your kids. So that's something that I was interested in doing. I called so many places. I called assisted nursing homes. I called laundromats, and a lot of these barbershops, a lot of them already have their own vending machine business, or a lot of them don't really see the value. They're like, you give them the idea and they're like, okay, we'll do it ourselves. So didn't really work out, but it's still something that I would be interested in doing if the opportunity ever presents itself. When I was around 24 to 25, back in 2014, my husband's a soccer coach, obsessed with soccer, went to college, full scholarship on soccer, almost became professional soccer player. So this man is obsessed, okay? He had the idea to start like a soccer camp. And of course, I'm doing all the paperwork, and I'm like, okay, why not? So we tried it. I believe we did it for 2 years. It just kind of became a babysitting service. Till this day, my husband's a soccer coach, so he's very experienced coming up with lessons and stuff like that. We use that park next to City College on Amsterdam. I think it's like 129, 130 or something like that. There's a City College over there, and there's a big, so it's kind of like Spanish Harlem. It's a big field over there. We use that park there. We would get the permits for the park to, you have to pay for the permits. And if you know, you know, so any kind of summer camp or soccer camp or basketball camp, these in New York City cost thousands of dollars. Like you're paying $5,000 for a 4-week, 5-week camp where you bring your kid a few times a week. This was just once a week on Sundays. Came out with flyers. I made the little the forms, you know, for parents to sign. And I don't remember how much we were charging. We wasn't charging much though, maybe like 100, 150 per kid. He had a lot of kids. Honestly, I'm making numbers up. I don't remember. This is 10 years ago. I don't remember how much we were charging. It was fun for me. I like the paper with Hispanics, African American kids that came, their parents would drop them off, watch them, you know, see what's going on. Some of them even, you know, hire my husband for private lessons with their kids one-on-one, which is very lucrative as well. And then, you know, when it's done, they go. It became a babysitting service, like where it's time to pick up the kids. And a lot of the Africans, you know, we do this. It's like an hour. They don't come pick up their kids. I'm calling them. They're not answering. They're like, oh, we're in traffic. We're so far away. It's like, come get your kids. I'm not your child's babysitter. These kids want to go to the bathroom. They're thirsty. They're hungry, and their parents are nowhere to be found. So that put a bad taste in my mouth. We did it for 2 years, and I was like, it's a good idea, but not with the kind of audience we have, because Africans you give them this and they want this. Some of the kids would call my husband like, hey coach, can you pick me up? I really want to come, but my dad can't drop me off. So then we started picking them up and then come and dropping them off. It was just becoming a little bit too much. So we stopped that. I think it's a really good business idea if we were to implement that here in New Jersey. And then after all these cereal businesses, I started my new job in 2016, and that's when I was around 26, and that's when I actually started making 6 figures. And then at the end of 2016, I had my daughter. So then that's when like I started to pull back on the taxes and then pulled back on the hair business. I was still doing it, but it wasn't like I wasn't marketing it as much, and I wasn't looking for influencers to market as much. And then these influencers, like the first influencer I had, she didn't charge me. I just sent her the hair for free and she did everything. Now these influencers want $1,000 and all this. I'm like, I'm not doing all that, because the hair I'm sending you is worth $1,000. So I'm not doing all that. I got to know what I like and what I didn't like, and what my strong suits are, you know, running a business. So I really, really enjoyed running all these businesses. I have all these experiences. And when I was just writing down the script for this video, I kind of forgot about all the businesses that I created. And I'm probably forgetting some now, but like, I'm really proud of myself because it brought me to where I am now. Now for all these businesses, I never really had employees. Like for my Airbnb business, it's the first time I like had real employees where I'm hiring a cleaner. I have my landscaper, I have my handyman, I have the plumbers that I go to. So I just feel like cereal business is not a bad thing. All together at the same time, yes, I think it's like no. But like different stages in your life, I feel like it's a good. My son's 10 now. At some point, I want him to start knocking on people's doors when we have a snowstorm. I could do the snow removal for $10, for $20. You know, I just want him to learn business and bring that down to his sisters as well, because they see mommy and daddy hustling. So I want them to know that as well. The younger you can instill that into your kids, I feel like it's the better. And I feel like traveling at a young age with my mom and then alone, it just taught me responsibility. Like I could travel to go anywhere by myself because I've been doing it for like 20 plus years now. So anyway, I think there are more pros and cons than, you know, having your kids start businesses at a young age. So tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Someone sent me a message saying that they felt like they still didn't really know much about me from before I started investing. So I thought this would be a good video just to give you a little bit of my background. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.